I haven't gone to Eve in a while. Let's go to Eve. So Eve is one of the hardest places to return from in Kerbal Space Program, and actually it's probably the hardest place, unless you try to land on the sun, but I don't think anyone's ever going to land on the sun. I mean, I actually did, like, try once with cheats on, but yeah, it's too hot, and you do have a superheated atmosphere to slow you down a little bit. I wonder if you could fly a plane on the sun with cheats. Hold on, that sounds like a much more interesting video idea. Maybe I should do that instead. Anyway, Eve, I don't want to do a copycat of a lander I've done before, so how about, let's have a crew of 6, why not? 7. Yeah, 7's a good number for, like, I can have one of these and one of these. Yeah, that'll work, 7. You should make these as light as possible, which is a piece of advice I am going to completely ignore. This should be a shielded docking port, and we should have it be a probe core, because, like, I might land the crew separately. In fact, you know what? Never mind, get that off there. We're going to put this shielded, because I know when I'm ascending from Eve, the tip of this is going to get really, really, really hot. So there, the servers, after they retexture them, I just can't find them anymore. And they retextured them like 2 years ago or something. Why does time go so quickly? Oh shoot, I have to go back to college in a month. Help! Where did the time go? I am going to put a parachute on this, just in case the launch off of Eve completely fails. At least they're not dead. Then maybe I can try and launch a rescue mission. You can go like that. I can have you down there. It looks like kind of like a squid. It looks nothing like a squid, but I kind of think it looks like a squid. Assuming I asparagus these, I don't see why it wouldn't be enough delta V, but that's just me being optimistic. I messed it up. These are not mass efficient. What if we put these? No, these will look cooler. A thrust to weight ratio of 2 on Kerbin, and that's going to be awful on Eve. 0.74. 7 is the highest mountain on Eve, and this doesn't have enough thrust to lift itself. So I need more thrust. So I just went through the effort of setting all those fuel lines up, and it turns out this design won't work at all. This, and just did a ring of vectors. 7 kilometers. This gets 1.85. What if I land at sea level by accident? 1.39. That might still be doable. Then these two ditch off. Then we activate the poodle stage. And by that time, we're in space, and they all live happily ever after. Unless they die. I could paint the whole thing orange. It might contrast nicely with the surface. There's no orange texture on those. I'm disappointed. Eve. What should I call it? I've been sitting here for 2 minutes, filling up hard drive space, unable to think of a name. So I'll name it later. Unnamed Eve Ascent 1.0. Sorry, no. Version 1. I should use auto straps, but I'm too lazy to turn those on because these will be awful with the drag they produce, but whatever. I don't think I'll need separation motor. Actually, no, who am I kidding? I'm definitely going to need separation motors. I'll try without, but I know I'm not going to get away with it. The middle be the landing platform, and then have like 6 of these. That's what I usually do. And then just stretch these up like crazy, because there's going to be so much stress placed on that. So you're probably wondering how I'm going to get this thing to Eve. You think I need a pretty big rocket. Well, you would be right. In the current plan, though, what I usually do for this sort of thing is I usually like get it into Eve orbit and use all of its fuel to like gently like put it down through the atmosphere, so I don't need much heat shielding, because it has enough delta V to like get off of Eve. It'll have enough delta V to get to Eve, and then I'll use a refueling ship to refuel it. I'll have to test that all on Kerbin, though. This is definitely going to be multiple episodes. There's no way I'm getting to Eve today. There's a bit of a cheat you can do. Instead of having to run a ladder all the way up, although that would be fun, is you take a command pod just to get the crew down here without like actually having to build a ladder. Like, they'll just teleport through everything. It's kind of cheaty, but whatever. I should probably add 2, just in case one breaks off, which, really, knowing me, it will. So my criteria for this working: I want a single stage to orbit to Kerbin orbit without dropping anything, then land safely. It's probably still not enough, so maybe get back to orbit again, multi-stage. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Okay, testing. Who are today's victims? Oh, just Jeb, Bill, and Bob. Right, because they haven't done anything in this save yet except for try and launch a Spaceship 2 replica that didn't work. I also tried filming a Stockcraft tier list video, but the thing is, it ended up being super boring, so I didn't finish it. Ooh, that is That thing leaps off the pad on Kerbin. Okay, our first section of engines has run dry. And I can't roll too intensely because the engines will hit the landing gear. I might want to fix that. I can just limit the gimbal a bit, I guess. Okay, there goes this next set of engines. Okay, so what else will I need? I'll need a cool mothership to take everything there. I'll need an ISRU rover. I'll need a transport rover. I'll need a crewed Ascent pod because there's nowhere going to put people on this thing for landing. I also want a probe to try and find the highest mountain on Eve because I lost it. Oh, I can't precision land this either. Okay, scratch that. I want a probe to find a large, flat, high area, like a plateau. And we're out of fuel, are we? No, I'll just activate this engine. Yeah, it does work. Physics. 70. Aha, we're in orbit. Just barely, though. We barely have any fuel left. I'm actually gonna take my fuel out of my upper stage. Because, like, that's how certain I am that I won't be able to land this thing. Yeah, we're not taking off after this. Except to test takeoff procedures and then immediately abort. I can try and land this in the desert there. That's a decently flat area. Yeah, I'll stop right there. Because this thing isn't dense anymore. Like, it won't, like, shoot through the atmosphere. I mean, the engines are pretty heavy, but, like, the fuel tanks are pretty much empty at this point. Air brakes are getting pretty hot. The air is breaking the air brakes. So that's why they're called air brakes, because the air breaks them. Yep, air broke. I think I'll need to attach an inflatable heat shield to the top for Eve entry. Because the engines will do most of it, but I still need something to keep me going in the right direction that won't just overheat at the slightest gust of wind. So if I deploy my drogues, how high up am I? 3 kilometers, that's okay. I don't trust it landing at this speed because, you know, everything is attached to that flimsy decoupler. Okay, that was iffy, but we did it. And in Jeb, we can test this. Good. I almost considered not putting a ladder there, but yeah, I really need... I'm glad I put the ladder there because we'll need it. Because on Kerbin, maybe I can make that jump. On Eve, no way. Smile for the camera, Jeb. It's easy to, like, forget just how big these rockets are. Like, wow. Okay, Jeb, you go back in there. Ditch those. Goodbye, air brakes. More like ground brakes, haha. I don't think we'll make it to orbit, but we might make it to space. So, 3, 2, 1. Beep, beep. All right, we up. 600 meters per second, and that's basically enough to go straight up. Then hope the poodle will get us to orbit, which it won't. So this is gonna be a test of the abort system. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Is that connected to the batteries? Or is it connected to the... In fact, that might be producing a huge amount of drag if it's connected to the battery, so I'll have to fix that. Okay, we didn't make it into space, but we basically made it to space. So now for a test of the emergency abort system, which is just stick some parachutes on it and hope we don't die. Actually, hold on. We should put a heat shield on this. That'd just be awful if they almost made it to Eve orbit and then died on re-entry. Because this thing is nose first stable. Yeah, no way they're going to survive anything more than a low altitude Eve abort. And they wouldn't even survive a low altitude. Oh, and we have the issue where we're going too fast, so we're not going to be able to deploy our chutes. Can I open this to increase drag? Open. That might help. Yeah, the abort system needs some serious rework. The abort system was overly optimistic and would not work in, like, any situation. So, and whoop, and whoop. Okay, how can we make this abort system not suck? We could just have 3 crew, but I kind of wanted 7. Okay, is there any way else that I can fit 7 people in, like, such a small space? That's not aerodynamic though. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could downscale to 6, and then only have to do like a space plane sort of thing. Yeah, I can't see that being aerodynamically stable, especially when all of the heavy stuff is going on the front. I could just stick everyone in EVA seats in a cargo bay, but that'll be like really light, then it'll be like incredibly overpowered. But I can take 8 Kerbals this way. The issue is like, I need like actually a way to load the crew in, because I can't like transfer crew between these. Like I have to either have a ladder. I could have this be on the bottom, like where the landing legs attach, and then have the whole rocket like upside down. But then I have to completely rebuild it. So I've spent 30 minutes showing you a design that won't. There won't be the final design. It wasn't a good design anyway. Stick some Batman batteries. I can also put a heat shield there and have this just be my abort capsule. But if I do that, they'll be like accelerating upside down. Don't worry guys, it's for science. I don't need this to have much delta V. Like this is just gonna be my rendezvous and docking stage. And I should put the RCS on the bottom because it's heaviest. I can put my docking RCS, except I have no docking port. Once I get close enough, could I just ditch the engine? I'll have to fly this thing backwards. It'll be fun. 400 meters per second. It's not terrible. And it weighs actually just as much as the other one. So yeah, I will need that big vehicle. How much does it weigh with all the Kerbals? Yep, 5 tons. But it should have a working descent abort system. Now as far as an ascent abort system, I make no guarantees. I could just drop it out of the back of the exploding rocket. But that's probably my best bet there. Because that's supposed to be like right on the surface, so I can't really have anything below it. Okay, if I just put this here temporarily for now, I can mess with my part routing and just rip this entire thing off. Use that as my decoupler and place it there. Haha, I'm sometimes a genius. Wait, I don't need a decoupler. There's no way out because the engines, but that's easy service access. What if I make the engines go like this? That fixes the landing gear problem too, because there's really easy places for the landing gear to come out. And then I just take this. And I don't need this at all now. They can just walk right up there. Ah, electrical generation. That's something I forgot. I could just stick an RTG on there and call it a day. Nuclear batteries right next to where the crew are. Dude. Touch that upside. This is gonna be so whack. And then just put this aerodynamic cover. This is probably the weirdest EVE Ascent vehicle I've ever designed, assuming it works. Right, stage separation motors. That's what I was gonna do. Asparagus staging is asparagus staging. Asparagus staging. I did it perfectly, but I only did it with 1 instead of 6. Asparagus staging is like great for efficiency, but it's absolutely awful to set up. I don't like editing these videos. They're awful to edit. They're easy to record and easier to edit than most of my stuff. I just hate editing in general. It's my least favorite part about making the videos and part of why it's so slow going. I have videos from years ago I haven't edited. It looks like they fit in there pretty well. What if I get you out? Can you get back in? Oh. Alright. One small step for man, one giant leap. For not dying on Eve. Let's try and land this thing just because like I'm not even gonna use that much fuel. I just wanna sun again. Hey, here's Minmus. Weird bugs. Okay. Okay, and then I ditched these. So we had a successful landing. And then launch, ditch that. Okay, we're up. Ditch. Okay, that one might not be enough. That one separation motor may not be enough at all. Or if this doesn't explode, the separation motors are fine. Separation motors are not fine. Why? Oh. The thrust might be blocked by the part, which is awful, but whatever. Okay, so assuming that it had gone as planned, the rocket's like still intact. So we ditch this, fire this up, and I have to control from the. I might want to set up an action group for the control from here. Flip around to prograde and head on into deep space. Oh, I just realized my portrait's right here. You can't see it, but there is a glitch with the portrait, guys. I keep forgetting that my face is right here. And that'll just give us a little bit of kick need for rendezvous. We can undock that, then use this for final docking. And then open this up and everyone survived, except now you're just going into deep space. So we need to fix the separation motor issues. That is priority number 1. What if, instead of that, I added little elevons outside the rocket that, like, yeeted these things off? That might work. That'll add drag. But the rocket already has a significant amount of drag, so... What else was an issue? Action groups for controlling from here. Action group, I'll hit to 10 because nothing else is going to be on 10. Like, who uses 10 action groups? Like, I'll show you the thing. So, assuming it does it this time, see, like, it's fuzzy there, and you'll notice that while it's fuzzy, we have a really low frame rate, but as soon as I load in the other portraits, it just becomes butter smooth. And every time I stage, those portraits reset, which makes it really annoying, so maybe I should report it on the bug tracker. What was I testing again? Right, booster separation. Shoots, shoots, ditch the shoots. And they all parachute down. Ditch the landing gear. Let's just go. Okay, let's go sideways a little bit so we get a bit. These probably shouldn't be. Like, yeah, they're producing a substantial amount of outside force, but they probably shouldn't have control authority. Like, that was mistake number 1. They do pull off fantastically in a lower atmosphere. What if I'm turning over significantly? Okay, that worked. I think this air flap idea is either the most stupid or the most genius thing I've thought of in a while. Granted, I haven't really been doing much thinking recently, though. Mostly just avoiding signing up for student loans for this year, and avoiding finalizing my schedule and housing and everything. Why is it so stressful to be? I'm not even like a full tier adult yet. I'm just in college, and I want to build rockets in real life. Oh Lord, help me! Can't even build rockets that don't wiggle around in a game. Astronauts will fear the rockets I design. Don't worry, guys. I promise it's safe. I'll take a ride on it to prove it's safe. That'd actually be a great idea. Like, be really sketchy and offer to take a ride to prove it's safe, just so you can go to space. That's actually a terrible idea. Don't follow my advice at all. Oh, right. I know what I need to do. Reverse and go down, and I'll test the re-entry system. So a really steep re-entry at roughly 4 kilometers per second will pretty much be the worst case scenario for abort. And it won't even be that bad. Like, if it can survive this, it will survive any abort that the game throws at it. Of course, I almost hit the... And I'll just burn this fuel, because I probably would on Eve too. Just so it's more bottom heavy. Control from here. Right, please, yeah. Not one of the Kerbals. Okay. Like, this is like the first time I put an abort system in like a planetary ascent vehicle other than like Kerbin. Okay, yeah. It's taking this well. The Kerbals aren't though. Maximum G-force 22.4. Speaking of editing and how much I don't like it, Gold Rush is awful on the editing side. Like, I want to tell the story, it just takes so long to put the episodes together. And I'm going back to college, so I won't have time. So hopefully episode 2 comes out before I go to college. Space face. Okay, so the last major thing I want to test is an Ascent abort. And then I want this to not have any active authority. Don't need those struts anymore. Don't need those struts anymore. Don't need those struts anymore. What is that song? I don't know what it is. I've heard it everywhere. What if I accidentally make it spin and heat up everything? Engines, shoot, shoot, ditch the shoes, take off, ditch that, detach. Oh no! It didn't work. Oh no, a disaster. That's enter, not backspace. Yeah, okay, alright, assuming that happens, that wasn't really a good test. Let's try that again with something more aggressive. Had this just fire into that and blow it up. Engines, shoot, shoot, ditch, launch, couple. Oh no, a disaster. It's not heating up. It's not disastering. Was this a disaster enough for you? Yes, that is a disaster enough for me, and it survived, and I can deploy the chutes, and they'll live. How many of them will survive if I cut the chutes? Okay, half of them will survive. Alright. We have our Ascent vehicle. So the current plan is I'm going to send a robotic scouting mission to look for a flat place to land this, but probably an electric plane. Then I'm going to send this early, along with the ISRU rover habitation module setup thing. And then I'm going to send a small-ish mothership with the crew on board with their own dedicated landing pod. That'll wait in orbit while they go down to the surface, do some cool stuff, and then they'll come back up in this vehicle and return to Kerbin, hopefully. That'll come in future episodes. Comment down below what you want this to be called, because I won't have it named. Like, I won't launch it for a bit, so you can name it perfectly fine. See you next time. Ultimate Steve out.